Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we're diving into a company that seems to be navigating a bit of a maze with some interesting moves and potential shifts on the horizon. Prepare for a wild ride as we decode this filing. And don't forget to hop into our Discord community linked in the description for more exclusive discussions. Get ready for some corporate drama because Avadel Pharmaceuticals PLC is in the spotlight, and it looks like they're juggling a potential acquisition while keeping an eye on the future. This isn't just any company filing, it is a Form 8K, which means something important and usually unexpected has happened. Think of it as the company's way of saying, pay attention. The date that really matters here is the 17th of November 2025. This is when the main event, or at least the announcement of it, happened. This report is essentially an announcement. Avadel Pharmaceuticals PLC, an Irish company, issued a press release on the 17th of November 2025. This press release is the star of the show today, and it has been officially attached to this filing. Let's talk about what the company is actually selling or what its core business is. They have ordinary shares with a nominal value of $0.01 per S-share. These are traded under the ticker symbol AVDL on the Nasdaq Global Market. This tells us they are a publicly traded company and their shares are available for anyone to buy or sell on a major stock exchange. Now there is a box here that has been checked. It says, soliciting material pursuant to Rule 14 and -12 under the Exchange Act. What does that mean in plain English? It means this company is actively trying to get shareholders to vote a certain way, likely about a major decision. This is not just a passive announcement, they are actively campaigning for support. This section tells us exactly why they are filing this form. It is due to author events. And the key event is that press release from the 17th of November 2025. That release is now officially part of the public record. This is where they list the documents they're attaching. The most important one is Exhibit 99.1, which is that press release. And then there is Exhibit 104, which is just a standard interactive data file for the cover page. It is the press release that holds all the juicy information. This part is super important and often overlooked. They are clearly stating that this report is not an offer to buy or sell any stock. It's purely for information. They're saying, don't think this means we're asking you to invest or sell based on this alone. Here is where the plot thickens. Avadel is involved in an acquisition with another company called Alkermes PLC. This acquisition is going to be finalized through a legal process in an Irish court which involves a scheme of arrangement. Think of it like a very formal agreement that needs court approval. This isn't a quick handshake deal, it is a structured legal process. This section is all about how shareholders can get more detailed information, especially about voting. Avadel has already filed some preliminary documents with the SEC, and they plan to file more. They are urging their shareholders to read these documents carefully, especially the definitive proxy statement. This is where all the nitty-gritty details about the acquisition will be laid out, including how shareholders can vote. So even though this report is dated the 17th of November, they had already filed preliminary documents a few days earlier on the 13th of November. This shows things were already in motion. They are essentially telling shareholders to brace themselves for more filings and to pay close attention to them, especially when it comes to voting on this big acquisition. This part clarifies who can influence the shareholders' vote. It mentions that Avadel's directors, executives, and employees might be considered participants in encouraging shareholders to vote a certain way. They're also pointing to previous filings for details about these individuals and their interests. It's like saying, these are the people who have a stake in how this vote goes. This is a standard but crucial part of any filing like this. They're warning that any statements about the future are just estimates and hopes. Words like anticipate, believe, and expect signal that these are not guarantees. They are saying, we hope this acquisition goes through and brings benefits, but a lot of things could go wrong. And here is another twist in the plot. It seems there was an unsolicited offer from another company, H. Lundbeck AIs, for a different business combination. This means Avadel might have had other options, and the Alkermes deal isn't the only game in town, or at least it wasn't at some point. This unsolicited proposal adds another layer of complexity and potential uncertainty. It highlights that the company might be a target for multiple suitors, which can be good or bad depending on the terms. The directors of Avadel are stepping up and taking responsibility for the information presented. They are basically signing off saying, as far as we know, everything in this report is true and doesn't leave out anything important. This is a legal declaration of their commitment to accuracy. This section is all about who is advising the company. Goldman Sachs and Company LLC and Morgan Stanley, and Company LLC are acting as financial advisors. They are essentially saying they are working exclusively for Avadel and will not be responsible for advising anyone else regarding this deal. This is standard practice when a company undergoes a major transaction. This is a bit technical, but it is about disclosure rules under Irish takeover rules. Basically, anyone who owns 1% or more of Avadel's securities needs to disclose their stake and any trades they make. This is to ensure transparency during the takeover process and prevent insider trading. If you are trading Avadel's stock, you need to be aware of these rules. This is a common disclaimer that means the report might have legal restrictions in certain countries. They're saying that if you are outside of Ireland and the United States, you need to be careful about how you interpret or use the information here, as local laws might apply. This is another preemptive statement. They are making it clear that nothing in this report should be seen as predicting profits or valuing assets. It's a way to manage expectations and avoid legal issues if financial projections do not pan out. And finally, we have the signatures. Gerard G. Sura, the General Counsel and Corporate Secretary, has signed off on behalf of Avadel Pharmaceuticals plc. This officially validates the report. Now, let's put on our Warren Buffett hat and look at the bigger picture. While this filing doesn't contain detailed financial tables, the core story is about a potential acquisition by Alkermes plc and the implication of an unsolicited proposal from Lundbeck. The fact that there is an active solicitation for shareholder votes tells us that this acquisition is a big deal for Avadel's future. The presence of competing interest from Lundbeck, even if unsolicited, suggests that Avadel might be an attractive asset. This could create leverage for Avadel or lead to a bidding war, which can be beneficial for shareholders. However, the cautionary statements about forward-looking statements and the uncertainties related to satisfying conditions to the acquisition and potential termination of the transaction agreement highlight significant risks. The company is essentially navigating a complex situation with multiple moving parts, and the outcome is far from certain. In conclusion, Avadel Pharmaceuticals plc is in a state of flux, facing a significant potential acquisition by Alkermes, complicated by interest from Lundbeck. The key takeaway is that shareholders need to stay informed through the official filings and carefully consider any voting decisions. The company's direction hinges on the success of this acquisition and how it navigates the potential for competing offers. It's a space to watch, especially for those invested in pharmaceuticals and M&A activity. Alright, that is our breakdown of Avadel Pharmaceuticals plc's latest filing. What is your take on this acquisition saga and the role of those competing offers? Are you bullish or bearish on Avadel's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this deep dive was valuable, smash that like button and subscribe for more corporate insights. And don't forget to join our Discord community for more exclusive discussions linked in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.